That's right. All right. Anyway, we have Emily Estes-Cross in our studio today. She is with the City of Kennewick. She is the Economic Development Manager. And Emily, amongst all this confusion today, thanks so much for joining us.
Hey, no problem.
I love it that you can go with the flow. Here's what we want to talk about. We're going to talk a little bit about downtowns today. So downtowns across the nation, this is nothing new, have kind of gone through this evolution. You know, back in, let's go back to the 60s, 70s, downtowns were like the huge city centers. It's where all the retail happened. It's where all people congregated. But over the years, the last couple of decades, there's been a lot of decay, struggling, retail moved out to the suburbs. So now, many downtowns are kind of looking for their new niche. And quite a few across the country have found great niches. I mean, in our region, we can just look at Walla Walla, that community has won a lot of downtown awards. So let's focus today, right now, on Kennewick's downtown. I'll just tell you, people, if you haven't been to Kennewick's downtown recently, you would see some changes that maybe you're not aware of. But Emily, how would you characterize Kennewick's downtown today?
You know, we've seen a shift in downtowns as a result of what different audiences want. And what the boomers wanted in the 1950s, the 1960s, is now the same thing that the millennial audiences want today. And that's how we're trying to change our downtowns, is to serve that need in the marketplace. And to some degree, it's a mall mentality. People want to be able to walk and shop and gather with others and enjoy coffee, maybe an adult beverage. They want places to take their families. You know, it really needs to revolve around different activities, different attractions for the different people in our community. So while we've seen some sprawl, especially in the 80s and the 90s, now people want to come back to an authentic hometown type of experience. And that's what they're finding in downtown Kennewick. There's an eclectic business mix right now. Everything from ink parlors to antiques, whether it be maybe a wine bar type of establishment or a retailer like a music store or a sports fan shop, and places to eat and have coffee along the way. Interspersed to make it, I guess, a unique attraction to our area, public art.
Yes.
Public art is prominent in downtown Kennewick. You can't go a block without being faced with something that's interesting. And among the public art are art galleries. Downtowns are historically an affordable place to start or operate a business, and that's why they often become hotbed for the arts, because those artists don't always have an influx of cash to lease a space or buy a building to operate their business.
Mm-hmm. So that's an interesting way to describe downtown Kennewick, eclectic. I find that myself. But it's very interesting.
It is interesting, and when we surveyed people from around the Tri-Cities, about 840 folks responded to that survey, telling us what would attract them to downtown, what type of image they'd like to see projected for downtown. There were a few overriding themes. One of them was to keep it authentic. Don't make it something that it's not, a themed type of a town or new and shiny. You know, we have the new and shiny in Kennewick at Southridge. We'll have even more new and shiny down the road at Vista Field, which will become the regional town center for the Tri-Cities. And we've got Columbia Center Boulevard, which is, you know, nearly at capacity with retailers, with restaurants, with shopping, but it all has a newer type of a flavor. Downtown Kennewick is a place that you can go for a little bit of nostalgia, a little bit of charm, and an authentic experience.
Mm-hmm. All right, so the reason that we even set today up is that we wanted to talk about First Thursdays. And what is it? Is that a way to get me down there?
Absolutely.
Get me to check it out?
You know, it's not a new concept. It's proven across the nation that if you can brand, if you can advertise one event out of the month into people's minds that they can come downtown, and it's guaranteed that shops will be open until 8 o'clock when maybe they normally close at 5 or 6 during a weekday, that they can experience something unique perhaps. So if I go into the jewelry store, they're doing, not only free ring cleaning, but maybe they're giving away cider during the holidays to keep you warm as you shop from store to store. Each month we try to focus on a little bit different theme to make it different so that the same people can come down every month and have a great experience. But it's a pedestrian friendly, it's a bike friendly area. There is a great mix of businesses, and then on top of that we try to bring in some street vendors to provide something new each month, and live music and entertainment. That was another overriding theme in our recent downtown survey that we did. People want anything outdoor, they want anything food related, and they love live music and entertainment.
Mm-hmm. So this coming Thursday will actually be your second event.
That's correct. We launched on October 1st, and it far exceeded our expectation. We teamed up with the Tri-City Cancer Center for a Girls' Night Out promotion to raise money for cancer research. And we were overwhelmed with pink in downtown Kennewick. It was fantastic. In November, we're shifting gears and shifting audience a little bit. It's Movember, so it's the hairiest month of the year.
Yeah.
So, yeah, while the Tri-Cities is bigger, bolder, brighter, downtown Kennewick's going to be a little bit hairier on Thursday night.
Oh, nice.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So, one of our featured attractions are our friends at the Tri-City Americans. They have their own Movember campaign going on, trying to raise awareness and funds for men's health, testicular cancer, prostate cancer. So they're going to be joining us along with the Bearded Dragon Grooming Company, which is a local company that caters to men's facial hair products, and Relay for Life. They'll be handing out some information on men's health and taking pictures of all the Mo Bros, is what we call them, short for mustache, and their Mo sisters who support them. So we'll be taking some pics with some fun props and posting them to social media.
Oh, nice. Okay. So that's coming up this Thursday. Hey, we're going to take a break here, Emily, because we kind of had a false start off the top here. But we'll be back to talk about more of what's happening in downtown Kennewick, some of the other projects that you've got planned. Stay with us. This is Meet in the Middle, and it's Tuesday. All right, so my guest today is Emily Estes-Cross, City of Kennewick Economic Development Manager, and we have been talking about First Thursday. The second one is going to happen this Thursday, and that the stores stay open till 8 o'clock on this Thursday. That's kind of cool.
It's absolutely cool, and you can get a lot of great deals as well. So businesses that you might not regularly think about, but with the holidays coming up especially, you might want to consider. Parkade Hobbies has all of their starter model train sets on sale for, I believe it's 20% off. Scrap Tri-Cities is relatively new to downtown. They feature upcycled type of craft materials. They're going to be doing a workshop on turning an old picture frame into a woven wall type of a hanging. We've got another new store. AK Gaming has a tournament going on. So there's all kinds of different activities. And then for Movember, because that's our theme this month, the salons are kind of going head to head in a competition about who can have the best deals. And one of them, Salon on First, is actually featuring free beard mustache trims for men and eyebrow waxing.
Free, huh?
Free, absolutely.
Whoa,
free.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man, sounds like a good idea. That's this Thursday. Okay, sounds like a very excellent idea. I want to eat and, dare I say, drink. So are there any specials for me?
In addition to our restaurants downtown,
yeah.
And I need to plug Zinful, was rated the 7th best sandwich in the state of Washington.
Nice.
Late last week that news came out, so that's a great option. As is Foodies is relatively new to Kennewick Avenue, and we're hearing rave reviews about Foodies. And then, there's a lot of really great burgers downtown, from the sports page to the Parkade Bar and Grill, Players. Just a lot of a great selection. And then we always have Between the Buns come down. And if you have never had a sausage dog with cream cheese and sauerkraut on it, I highly recommend it.
Oh, okay, so I got a lot of options. I like that. Well, what you were talking about earlier is some of the survey results talked about people, and this seems to be a constant survey result whenever people survey anything about the Tri-Cities, is that people want more restaurants. We always want to be eating more. We enjoy that, and we seem to want to have local restaurants.
So while at the City of Kennewick, we hear a lot of feedback regarding all of the different neighborhoods throughout the Tri-Cities, and we do hear a lot of people who say they want a particular type of a chain restaurant, especially near the mall or maybe up at Southridge. The survey results were very specific in downtown Kennewick that they wanted homegrown, original restaurant concepts. In fact, 77% of our respondents said we want more restaurants, we want cafes, we want bakeries. We had a large percentage of folks itemize steakhouse and fine dining as options, but I'd say that the largest response was for bakeries, desserts, sweets. So we have a sweet tooth
okay,
here.
yes.
Yeah.
And so are you creating any kind of a program that might open that up?
Definitely. We've capitalized on our America's Best Communities Award, which granted us $50,000 to spend on economic revitalization, specifically in downtown Kennewick and along the waterfront near Columbia Drive. And we've taken $20,000 of that, and we will be incentivizing restaurants who want to locate or expand in downtown Kennewick. We've received 10 applications so far.
Oh, okay. Wow.
So we're getting a great response, and we're awarding up to $5,000 per business. So it's becoming a pretty competitive process, and it will be interesting to see not only how that shakes out, but once those doors are open or those businesses have expanded their offerings, how that helps attract a more regular type of a foot traffic downtown.
Well, how many storefronts are there or openings are there for people to lease property or in the downtown area?
It depends on what you define as the downtown area, but I'd say in that core historic type of district, especially along Kennewick Avenue, there's probably 6 or 7 storefronts that are open right now. But the tough part of opening a restaurant is not only the exorbitant cost associated with the equipment, but some of those historical older buildings don't really have the infrastructure to accommodate a restaurant. So it takes a pretty significant investment to get some of those spaces restaurant ready. And we're hoping that the restaurant incentive grant can help with some of that.
Good. Yeah. Oh, that sounds really interesting. We always like new places to eat, that's for certain. So what else are you doing to attract new business in the downtown area, or does that expand out further than just the historic part?
It does expand further than the historic part because we need to capitalize on the waterfront. Our community has been telling us for years, outside experts have been telling us for years, that we need to focus on the waterfront. And the Port of Kennewick has done a phenomenal job and demonstrated that with Clover Island specifically. But those efforts continue, down Columbia Drive, especially with the construction of the Wine Village, which will start on the 200 block of Columbia Drive early next year. We've already seen the land cleared, but construction of the actual winery buildings will start early next year. We need to give people stuff to do along that waterfront area, access to the waterfront, and then connect that area of town, which is somewhat industrial in nature, to that historic downtown area. Right now, the actual streetscapes and transportation infrastructure between the two areas is a little bit disjointed. So that needs to be improved in the long term. So in order right now to attract more people down, while we're raising money essentially to make such costly enhancements, there's a slate of activities, events, promotions taking place within the whole area this next year. The Historic Downtown Kennewick Partnership is working on that. So while we've seen the car show be a huge success, the Mother's Day weekend of every May, they've got a number of different activities, a lot of them food related, because that's what people are telling us that they want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so speaking of that, let's just talk a little bit about Christmas. And when areas are, what do you want to call it? They are more nostalgic. It seems to draw people. And when areas have lights, the streets are smaller. I mean, it's just more pedestrian oriented. Are we going to see that in downtown Kennewick this year? I mean, right now, coming up.
Absolutely. In fact, we've already lit up the trees downtown.
Right.
We lit those up for First Thursday. We'll do that again for First Thursday on December 3rd. We'll have some carolers along the streets, create a festive atmosphere, keep an eye out for Santa. That next Saturday, December 5th, is the Merry Little Christmas Village, where we have just a number of different activities for kids and families to come down and enjoy. Hay rides, readings of the Polar Express, and different types of activities in each of the different stores. And then we have stuff for adults too. On December 12th, Saturday, SantaCon returns to downtown.
SantaCon.
SantaCon is a pub crawl. Yeah, so if you want
sounds fun.
Good old-fashioned entertainment and to see a lot of grown adults dressed up as Santa, come downtown on December 12th.
Okay, that's good for people watching, you bet. One of the things I know that people have said in the past is that they were a little, and this is typical and common for downtown areas as they decayed and all, people have been a little bit concerned about personal safety. I was down Friday night. I went to the Roxy to listen to a friend's band, and I thought it was great. I mean, I did not have any qualms about being downtown. Is that improved? To what extent?
I'm not sure that it was ever bad.
Okay.
So,
okay.
If there is a perception
crimes down there.
Yeah,
There's
if there is a
nightlife,
perception there, the current crime statistics from the Kennewick Police Department don't show that there's any more crime downtown than anywhere else. I think that the difference is nowadays we drive our cars everywhere. You drive your car to Columbia Center, you drive your car to Southridge, and you don't necessarily drive your car downtown. You drive it, you park, and then you walk around. So you might notice a little bit more, but it's only, if it is a perception, it's an inaccurate one.
Okay,
because it is safe downtown. But given that, if perception is reality, that's one of the reasons that we lit up the trees. That we need to keep vibrant businesses in all of the storefronts so that the lights are on, so that there's a lot of people milling around, because a lot of times you feel safer, I think, in numbers and with activities going on with music in the streets. This winter, the ice rink will be lit up at the corner of Kennewick Avenue and I think it's Benton Street. We call it Flag Plaza.
Yes.
And that in itself, having that whole corner lit up and with kids and families out ice skating every Saturday and Sunday, I think it gives a perception of this is a safe, fun place to hang out.
Emily, thank you so much for joining us today, and you'll probably be down there Thursday. Maybe I'll see you Thursday in downtown Kennewick, First Thursday.
Thank you.
All right, we're back in a moment here on Meet in the Middle.